Do you ever wonder why certain moments feel electric? Why this exact second feels different from any other? Right now, something invisible is happening that most people will never notice. You found this message at precisely the moment your consciousness was ready to receive it. This isn't chance. This is alignment. What just occurred was a silent examination, and 97% of people fail it without awareness. You're still here, still present with these words, which means something fundamental is shifting within your awareness. Most would have already moved on, chasing the next distraction, the next dopamine rush, the next escape from what they're truly seeking. But not you. You sense there's something deeper here, something that could change everything. Your entire nervous system is responding to these words in ways that might escape your conscious notice. Perhaps your breathing has deepened. Maybe your heart rhythm has subtly changed. Somewhere in the depths of your being, dormant neural networks are beginning to stir, awakening in ways that feel both foreign and familiar. This isn't just content you're consuming. Your personal field of possibility is being recalibrated. Your consciousness is being invited into a new trajectory. Right now, in this very instant, microscopic changes are occurring in your quantum signature. Scientists who research peak human performance have discovered something remarkable. Genuine transformation never begins with massive action. It originates with a subtle, almost imperceptible shift in awareness. A small adjustment in how you perceive reality that creates ripple effects throughout every aspect of your existence. Maintaining your focus here with me represents the initial step in that transformation. You're about to discover principles that will fundamentally alter your understanding of consciousness, your unconscious programming, and the blueprint of your highest potential. These are insights that most people remain unaware of until they've spent decades feeling lost and disconnected. As you engage with this material, something authentic will occur that transforms your relationship with reality. You'll experience revelations that could revolutionize how you understand your identity and your purpose. This might catch you off guard. Brain researchers have identified that humans overlook approximately 96% of opportunities that could radically transform their lives. What causes this? Our nervous system's protective mechanism activates the moment we encounter even mild discomfort. Consider the implications of this. Your mind reflexively rejects nearly every possibility for complete life transformation before you even recognize it exists. In its well-intentioned but misguided attempt to protect you, your brain becomes your greatest limitation. Even more extraordinary is that your unconscious awareness knows your next sequence of decisions 8 to 10 seconds before your thinking mind catches up. Your deeper intelligence has already determined its choice as you absorb these words. If you remain present through this entire journey, integrate what you discover, and allow this moment to become the pivotal turning point it's designed to be, then the decision has been made. This isn't wishful thinking. This represents the documented reality of how your consciousness shapes your experience moment by moment. Beneath this surface layer, something even more profound is unfolding. Quantum researchers have validated that consciousness itself transforms potential into experienced reality. The field of infinite possibility surrounding you is literally reshaping every second you maintain full presence here. You're not simply observing new information. You are actively participating in the creation of your emerging reality. Here's something that might surprise you. Your heart generates an electromagnetic field 5,000 times more powerful than your brain's field. This energy extends several feet in all directions from your physical body. The electromagnetic signature of your heart is transforming as these concepts resonate with the wise, knowing part of you. A new vibrational frequency is being broadcast into the quantum field. This frequency will begin attracting experiences, synchronicities, and relationships that match the upgraded version of who you're becoming. This explains why certain encounters, messages, and people feel destined. It's not coincidence. At the intersection where your individual consciousness meets universal intelligence, powerful magnetic fields emerge. You're about to receive exactly what your soul requires in this encounter to advance to its next evolutionary level. And here's the most remarkable part. Your presence here right now confirms that your unconscious mind has already chosen transformation. You arrived at this precise moment through the guidance of your higher wisdom. This message contains frequencies that your soul recognized it needed to experience. This resonance is your consciousness calling to itself, creating optimal conditions for your awakening. Let's move beyond passive observation. You're not here merely to consume information. You've come to actively transform, to feel more profoundly, and to evolve authentically. By the completion of our exploration together, you will clearly understand the invisible constraints that have been limiting you and discover the precise steps necessary to transcend them. Not someday or later, but immediately. The inner guidance that prompted you to continue watching, that quiet knowing that whispered, "Pay attention." This is meant for you, represents your higher intelligence speaking. This is your moment of recognition. Yes, this is universal consciousness orchestrating perfect conditions for what your soul has been yearning to experience. You now have access to quantum wisdom. If your spirit desires evolution, embrace this message and join our community of conscious beings. The time for your expansion is now. We must address this critical moment before we explore the magnificent transformation awaiting you. Because existence continues advancing with or without your conscious participation. And you stand at a crucial decision point, whether you realize it or not. Time cannot be paused. It remains indifferent to our fears, our excuses for delay, or our justifications. It flows relentlessly forward, carrying us within its current. You're creating choices in this moment, determining whether you'll take conscious control of your reality or continue allowing life to happen to you. These choices, both subtle and significant, are all directing you toward identical outcomes. Your thoughts, emotions, and actions function like stones cast into an infinite ocean of possibility. The resulting waves extend far beyond your ability to perceive. One pathway leads to growth, courage, and becoming the extraordinary version of yourself you've always envisioned. Those who choose this direction embody bravery. They expand continuously and create experiences that generate genuine aliveness. People who refuse to accept mediocrity walk this path. The alternative route leads to stagnation, excuses, and quiet, persistent regret. This path requires minimal effort. It represents the comfortable prison that many mistake for security. Unfulfilled dreams and haunting what-if questions characterize this journey, creating a bitter aftertaste that intensifies with time. The undeniable truth is that your destiny doesn't begin next year. It doesn't activate when you finally accumulate enough knowledge, feel completely prepared, or receive external validation. Your fate ignites this very moment with whatever choice you make next. When you postpone your aspirations, mindlessly consume distractions, or promise yourself, "I'll begin tomorrow," you're making a definitive choice. That choice constructs your reality, one decision at a time. Most people remain unaware they're building their own limitations until they find themselves trapped, wondering how they arrived there. Tomorrow exists only as an illusion, and this represents the tragedy. Excuses and delays are always readily available, but perfectionism destroys progress. Waiting for ideal circumstances is simply procrastination, wearing a sophisticated disguise. This phenomenon is called the readiness paradox. The more time we invest in preparation, the less likely we are to actually begin. Your mind convinces you that additional preparation improves your chances of success. Research reveals this belief is completely false. People who act with 70% certainty consistently outperform those who wait for 90% certainty. Why? Because by the time 90% certainty arrives, opportunity windows have typically closed. The universe responds to momentum, not perfection. It rewards movement, not endless planning. Each day you delay compounds against you rather than for you. If you invested $1 today and it doubled daily, you'd possess over $1 billion in 30 days. Starting just 10 days later leaves you with less than 1 million. Postponement carries exponential costs. This principle applies universally. Relationships you don't pursue, skills you don't develop, goals you don't advance. All these unrealized possibilities make life feel increasingly constrained. Many people declare, "I'll start when I'm truly ready." They await motivation to strike like lightning and confidence to arrive like a delivery. But I must share a truth that might sting. Nobody ever feels completely ready. Not you, not me, not anyone who has achieved significance. When history's most successful individuals took their first steps, they were often terrified. They didn't feel prepared, confident, or qualified. What distinguished them was their willingness to proceed despite fear. They understood that readiness isn't an emotion, but a decision. Growth is inherently messy. It creates discomfort. You must be willing to leave your comfort zone. Even when that zone has become a cage, reaching your desired destination requires releasing the version of yourself that brought you this far. Becoming who you're meant to be means abandoning who you've been. This process is never comfortable. Your ego will resist. Elaborate narratives will emerge about why you should wait, why you're inadequate, why you need more time. These are simply stories, beautifully crafted deceptions designed to maintain your current state. Your consciousness faces a choice right now. Will I push through this discomfort or retreat to something easier? This seemingly minor decision creates the fundamental difference between those who dream and those who manifest their dreams. This is where paths diverge. The universe owes you nothing. However, your presence here suggests something significant. You don't require external permission. You don't need a guru or savior. You simply need to release the myth of perfect timing. Ideal conditions don't exist. They're fairy tales we create when we resist beginning. We exist in the only moment that's real, now. Infinite possibilities exist within this moment. Countless opportunities and miracles await your affirmation, but you must actively participate. You must choose. Most people remain trapped, either reliving yesterday's regrets or paralyzed by tomorrow's anxieties. But this present moment represents the only space where authentic change can occur. The past exists only as memory. The future remains unwritten. Today holds your power. This message reached you today rather than last week, when you might not have been receptive, or next month when the opportunity might have vanished. You're here because you desire more. Let's explore that internal voice first, then address the dreams you've been deferring. You recognize it. That voice that says, "Stop. You won't succeed. You're insufficient." You've heard this commentary in the background for years, perhaps decades. It has influenced your decisions, self-perception, and entire existence. Your inner critic has been your constant companion. It functions like a self-appointed guardian attempting to protect you by diminishing your sense of possibility. It uses your own voice. It sounds reasonable to you. It feels like authentic truth. But here's what most people never realize. That voice speaks falsehoods. While it may sound like you, it originated elsewhere. This voice formed from ancient fears, wounds, and harmful messages you absorbed when you were too young and trusting to know better. It's composed of societal conditioning and countless small discouragements that accumulated over time. Your internal critic developed every time someone told you to be realistic. Every failure you experienced, and every moment you felt judged or dismissed. It learned to predict failure before you even attempted anything, believing this protected you from future pain. The longer you believe it, the more influence it gains. It becomes the lens through which you evaluate every opportunity, the filter that screens all possibilities. But this voice cannot predict your future. It only knows your past and assumes tomorrow will mirror today. There have been moments when you felt instant clarity, times when you considered being bold, taking risks, or finally pursuing a long-held dream. In those moments of crystal clarity, you glimpsed who you could become. But then, within milliseconds, that voice returned. It doesn't shout. It whispers persistently with seemingly logical concerns. What if you fail? What will people think? You lack experience. The timing is wrong. In that brief hesitation, that instant of doubt, your potential evaporates. The dream suffocates. The window for action narrows. This pattern repeats throughout most people's lives. They experience small, quiet failures repeatedly, but never risk significant failure. Neuroscientists call this the 5-second rule. When you feel inspired to act, you have approximately 5 seconds before your brain intervenes with fears and doubts designed to keep you safe. Those 5 seconds determine the difference between your current life and your potential life. Wise individuals have learned to recognize these 5-second windows. They don't wait for fear to disappear. As they count down from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, they move. But this isn't merely about external action. You must commit to yourself before your mind attempts to dissuade you. It's about prioritizing your future self over your present comfort. Every significant forward movement begins with a clear choice made before fear clouds your judgment. Take a moment and comment below with this phrase: I choose growth over comfort. This isn't casual engagement. This is an energetic declaration, a conscious interruption in the pattern, a signal to the field that you're ready for something different. We're fortunate to be here together. You must act on these insights immediately. Pause and truly absorb this before continuing. Anxiety always masquerades as wisdom. Fear is intelligent. It doesn't manifest as obvious panic. Instead, it dresses professionally and calls itself common sense. Let's be realistic, it whispers. The timing isn't right. Wait until you feel more confident. Most of us don't question these arguments because they sound mature and responsible, but they're actually fear disguised as knowledge. Successful people never wait for confidence. They acknowledge their fear and advance anyway. They understand that courage doesn't mean absence of fear. It means acting despite fear. They know confidence develops through action, not the reverse. Every expert was once a beginner. Every success story began with someone who felt scared and uncertain, but chose to start anyway. You can be prepared, even when you don't feel ready. Consider the most significant discoveries in human history. None were made by people who felt completely prepared. They were made by individuals willing to act despite uncertainty. They understood that the path reveals itself only after you begin walking, not while you stand at the starting line trying to map every step. The reality is, you'll never achieve complete certainty. Waiting for it means waiting indefinitely. Readiness isn't an emotion. It's a choice to act despite fear. Your inner critic will always exist because it's hardwired for survival. Its function is keeping you alive, not helping you thrive. Thank it for caring, then choose to lead from your soul. Right now, in this exact moment, you possess everything necessary to begin. Not when you have more money, not when you feel smarter, not when others believe in you. Right now, exactly as you are sufficient. The voice suggesting otherwise is operating from outdated programming. Let's acknowledge what already exists within you before discussing the future you're destined to create. Most people feel like they're missing something crucial in their lives: more time, talent, or connections. They constantly search for that external element that will finally unlock their potential. Here's the startling truth. You already possess everything required. You're not broken. You lack nothing. You have an incredible journey ahead. You are already whole and complete. This truth has been obscured by comparison and conditioning. There's a version of you that's prepared to emerge, a version that appears during challenges, a version that refuses surrender, a version that demands more than mediocrity from life. This version already exists within you. Simply remember it and allow it to surface. You don't need to construct it. When you stop diminishing yourself to accommodate others' comfort, when you stop apologizing for your brilliance and begin expressing it fully, it emerges. From your deepest core radiates immeasurable energy. Greatness isn't about being the smartest or fastest. It's about choosing persistence when you most want to quit. That's true power, and it belongs to you. If this resonates deeply with you, then I invite you to subscribe not just to this channel but to this frequency, this movement, this space where consciousness meets transformation. You're not just staying connected to content. You're staying aligned with your highest potential. The power within you doesn't concern itself with circumstances or history. It only requires your decision to activate it. Throughout history, many of the greatest successes emerged from the most challenging beginnings. Your obstacles aren't barriers. They're the raw materials for your greatness. You're stronger because of every difficulty. You've gained wisdom from every setback. Nothing in your life has been wasted. Before we design your ideal reality, understand this. Potential isn't discovered, it's awakened. You don't need to seek it. It already resides within you, waiting to emerge. You awaken it when you choose to live from purpose rather than fear. When you operate from fear, you focus on safety and pain avoidance. You repeat the same limiting patterns because you're in defensive, survival-based thinking. Living from purpose means giving your life meaning and contributing to something greater than yourself. This mindset is expansive and thriving, pulling you toward growth and profound fulfillment. Everything transforms when you make this shift. Consider what you've already survived. You've endured experiences designed to break you, yet you remain. There were days when continuing seemed impossible, when surrender felt like the only option. Despite everything, you're still here, still standing, still seeking more. That's not weakness. That's unbreakable strength. You've always found ways through your darkest moments. That's not luck. That's power. People who thrive don't always have backup plans. They simply refuse defeat and remain unbreakable. They trust their own power more than external chaos. While others wait for perfect conditions, they work with what they have where they are. You possess more capability than you recognize, and you already have everything needed to transform your life. You simply need to choose activation. Let's discuss the one element that will create massive change in your existence: taking action. Everything we've explored so far exists only as concepts. Ideas alone are simply fantasies. Knowledge without application is merely entertainment. You're here for a reason. Part of you recognized you were ready for this. Your consciousness guided you to this moment. Now comes the authentic test, translating these insights into real-world action. This is where most people stagnate. They feel inspired and motivated, then do nothing. But you're different. You've remained present this long because you're genuinely interested, because you're prepared to face truth. You believe you're capable of so much more. What we've explored today represents just the surface layer of consciousness mastery. If these concepts of frequency transmission and conscious broadcasting are resonating deeply with you, there's an entire universe of understanding waiting to be unlocked. In my complete guide, Beyond the Frequencies, a quantum guide to consciousness mastery, we dive into the 9 master frequencies that govern reality creation, the step-by-step practices for moving from unconscious to conscious transmission, and how to embody what I call becoming the broadcast rather than seeking external frequencies. It's linked in the pinned comment below. Today, take the first step, even if it seems insignificant or imperfect. You might contact someone you've been avoiding. Document a goal or establish a new daily practice that aligns with who you're becoming. Don't wait for perfect circumstances to materialize. They don't exist. Right now is the only moment that matters. Your actions today influence who you'll become tomorrow. Visualize yourself 1 year from now. What would you want that future self to thank you for? You want them to remember this brave choice as the moment everything shifted. That person you'll be in 6 months, 1 year, or 5 years will feel immense gratitude that you were courageous today. Imagine alternatively the future version who feels regret. This version chose inaction. They surrendered to fear. They remain unchanged, haunted by what-ifs and missed opportunities. As you read these words, they look back wishing desperately they had chosen differently. This isn't meant to frighten you. This is designed to create sacred urgency. Your time represents your most precious resource. Each choice you make today votes for who you want to become tomorrow. Don't seek external permission. It must come from within. Accept this as confirmation. You already know what to do. You've always known. Choosing action represents the first step toward the life you've been craving. Drop one word in the comments that captures the transformation you're choosing. Let this be your energetic signature to the quantum field. Change never happens through waiting. It begins with the first small step. You only need to take the first step in faith, not see the entire staircase. Action creates clarity. Movement generates momentum. You don't start then figure it out. You figure it out as you proceed. There's an elegant way the universe supports those who support themselves. When you act despite uncertainty, resources appear. Opportunities manifest. Help arrives in ways you couldn't have planned. This isn't magic. This is how reality operates. When you change your actions,